News at Covington Catholic video, and how smirks work. At large Michael and a brother. The debacle of Native American elder and activist Nathan Phillips and his unfortunate for everyone ever encounter with the field-tripping, matchy-hatted boys of Covington Catholic I consumed the better part if you can call it that of the week. But why? Sure, there's